Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Man Views. As always, I'll wait to the very end to share my thoughts and comment. Big shout out and credit to Man Dating Channel. Let's go.
Versus John D. Patterson II, file number 125056DP. This is the plaintiff's motion regarding custody and parenting time. Miss, your name is Patricia M. Capely?
Yes.
You are the plaintiff. You appear in the courtroom this morning. Sir, you are John D. Patterson II?
Yes, sir.
And you appear via Zoom this morning. Will you both please raise your right hands?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hands down. Before we proceed, I'd like to hear from the friend of the court regarding the orders previously in this file. Mr. Holman.
Currently, Your Honor, the parties share joint legal custody with Ms. Capely having physical custody of the minor child. Parenting time is alternate weekends during the school year, and the parties submit proposed or agreed upon summer schedules to the front of the court office. They've been doing that for the last 2 years, and they've already submitted that for this upcoming summer. But during the school year, every other weekend, and then summers vary year to year, depending on their agreement.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Ms. Capely, what are you requesting, please?
Full custody.
Okay, you have physical.
Yep.
And what do you mean by full custody?
Where previous on April 21st, we met up at Lucky's and
Okay, we'll get to that in a bit, though. There are two types of custody in Michigan. There's physical and legal custody.
Yeah.
You already have physical custody, so what are you asking
for
for?
full
Full what?
physical.
Full, you already have full physical.
Well,
I want to make sure I can't put words in your mouth.
full custody, like
There are two types.
where he is, I don't want to full custody until he gets help. That's
Okay.
what because
Okay,
Pardon?
just hear me for just a second. There's physical custody in the state of Michigan.
yes,
That means where the child resides primarily.
that's where my child is with me.
Right, so you have that.
Yes.
There's also legal custody. Legal custody deals with decision-making on behalf of the child. It could be.
Yes, I would want that also.
Okay, so you're asking for legal custody then too, sole legal. And why are you requesting sole legal custody?
Because on Sunday, April 21st, we were meeting up at Lucky's for our our meetup places. And
Lucky's where?
on the steakhouse in Emily City.
Okay, that'd be Pierce County. Right near I-69.
Yeah.
Court can take judicial notice that that's in Pierce County. And what are you alleging that happened?
Domestic violence, he got, kind of kidnapping because after.
I have kidnapping.
Well, he took my child because he got triggered and hit my fiance's truck like 5 or 6 times, and then he hit me and I was blocking him. I have evidence. He does have a child abuse case against him, against his daughter. And he's a repeater.
Okay, let's back up. On April 21, you met at Lucky's. Was that to be an exchange of the child?
Yeah, it was an exchange for me to pick my son. Our
Okay, so
son.
you're supposed to pick your son
Yeah,
up. Did that happen?
well, afterwards, after the cops got involved
Oh,
and
police were involved.
the domestic was involved.
So police were called and you allege that he struck you?
He struck me, he struck the vehicle that I was in because he was triggered. Because I didn't give him a chance of dating me again, and he knew I was with my fiance.
And you claim that there's a child abuse
Yes,
matter involving Mr. Patterson as well and another?
yes, on his daughter. And I have evidence to show.
What's the allegation?
not domestic, but child abuse. There's,
Are you aware of criminal charges being brought?
I would think so. I mean,
Okay, you're not certain, but what about on April 21st? Are there criminal charges pending against Mr. Patterson?
the cop did a domestic report for me and he said it was domestic violence. I don't know if there's charges.
Have you been notified by the prosecuting attorney's office in Lapeer County?
No,
The police were notified.
police were notified.
And after the police were notified, what happened with the defendant?
He got arrested
He was arrested.
and they raided his truck or SUV.
Have you had the child since?
Well, he had him the previous weekend. Supposedly my son went out of state on my permission also, so.
So tell me the child did not, obviously there's an exchange. I'm hoping the child did not witness this.
Yes, he did.
The child did witness this.
Yes, all of it.
Anything else?
Just, he needs help and he knows it.
Mr. Patterson, before we proceed in me asking you questions in this matter, I have to ask, are there criminal charges pending?
There are criminal charges, but I would like to explain my side of the story before anything is.
Oh, okay. Before you do that though, could you tell me what the charges are?
DMV and then malicious destruction of property under $200.
And what do you mean by DMV?
Domestic violence.
Are there any
Because
felonies? Are there any
There's no
felonies?
felony charges, no. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I haven't talked to my lawyer yet. I have court on the 17th.
Okay. The court has the opportunity under the My Court application to look up this matter just to see what the charges are. Do you have any objection to me looking at that very briefly?
No, I mean, I'm not hiding anything from you. I've never really.
I'm not asking you to hide anything. I just.
No. I'm just.
I
Yeah.
have some sort of.
I
You
mean,
don't have
right
any
now,
objection?
no, I don't have any objections.
Okay. You've been before a judge?
Yes, we rescheduled it. I went on the 10th, May 10th, in front of a judge, and then she scheduled it to the 17th for May 17th.
Okay. So she would be Judge Shager Barn, I believe.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Any objection to me just looking up and see what the pending charges may be?
Yeah.
Okay. You do have an objection or you don't?
No, I don't.
Okay. I just want to have a clear record. And I have the permission of both parties. This one shall.
I think there might be a CCW charge or something for a pistol. They said I was transporting incorrectly, so that might be on there too.
Let's take a look. Okay, I did find it. State of Michigan versus Patterson 2024-0559-FY. Scheduled for a probable cause conference on May 17th, as stated by Mr. Patterson. Let's see. file. All right, the charges include carrying a concealed weapon, domestic violence, malicious destruction of personal property less than $200. Bond was set at $2,500. All right, so Mr. Patterson, you just stated a moment ago that you wish to give your side or account of this. I have to caution you. There's a criminal case pending. You have the right to remain silent. Your silence cannot be used against you. Anything you say in this courtroom could be used against you in another proceeding. You don't have an attorney representing you in this matter. You did state you have an attorney representing you in the criminal proceedings. So I have to caution you, if you do respond to this, however you respond, the prosecuting attorney in Lapeer County can use that information in your criminal proceedings. Do you understand that, sir?
I mean, I understand that, sir. And everything I'm going to tell you is the same thing I put in the police report, and that is on record when I called 911 to state the matter at hand.
Okay, well, I just wanted on the record that this court didn't force you to say anything, and the court did advise you regarding your rights. Do you acknowledge your rights and understand them?
I do acknowledge them, yes, sir.
Is there anything affecting your mind or brain making it difficult to make important decisions?
The safety of my child.
Okay, well, if you wish to respond, that's up to you, sir. Go ahead.
So to respond, I know Ms. Capling had reported or had sent in a letter stating the issues. There's some cliff notes. There is a couple lies, but I did not react because Ms. Capling did not inform me that she was back with her ex-abusive girlfriend or fiance. So leading back to November 26th, when me and Ms. Capling was co-parenting, there was an incident to where her fiance tried to run my son and her off the road. When dealing with the situation, I told them to call the police. I have a text message from my son stating that she had told him not to call the police.
That's not
Okay.
And this is versus Margaret Parks, which...
Can you spell the last name?
Huh?
Can you spell the last name of that individual?
Parks, P-A-R-K-S.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So going from that, Ms. Capling knew how I felt about this person. And not once have she communicated that they were back together or doing anything. My son had asked her and talked to her to inform me, and she told him to shut up. When coming to pick him up, she did not clarify who was coming down with her to pick her up. So on that day, when we pulled into Lucky's and I saw the vehicle, I asked my son, did he want to go with her? He said no. So I got out of my truck. Patty got out of the vehicle, and I told Patty I was refusing to release custody to her at this moment because of the situation that happened November 26th with her fiance trying to run my son and her off the road.
Okay, time out. November 22nd, 2023?
November 26th, 2023, correct.
2023. Okay. Now, regarding that allegation, did you contact police?
I dialed 911. I was on the phone with dispatch, and Ms. Capling was on the phone with dispatch also.
All right.
There is record of it.
Understand that, but did the police perform any action upon your allegations?
I haven't heard anything, nor did she say that the charges were dropped or anything. The only thing I knew was at that particular time they were not supposed to have contact.
Okay. So that happened in November of 2023. When did you even file a motion to exclude this individual from being around the child?
I mean, at that time, no, because me and Miss Capling were co-parenting. So
Okay.
Miss Parks wasn't supposed to be in the picture, and I didn't know Miss Parks was ever back in the picture because because of the situation, I was frustrated and upset, and I removed myself coming up to Bad Axe because of that happening. That was my last straw with that situation.
Okay. So moving forward, though, when you discovered apparently that this Ms. Parks was involved, I mean, again, I'm not trying to pry this out of you because there's a criminal charge pending, but do you wish to respond to those allegations of allegedly ramming a?
So when I told Miss Capling that I was refusing to release Tristan in her custody, she got outraged. And because she got upset, I got upset. And that's when I started yelling about the fact that she literally tried to run you two off the road and you are back with her. Like Miss Capely never communicated anything. She never communicated. She said she was with someone. Yes, that is correct. But she never said who that person was. I didn't know who that person was until the day of doing the drop off at Lucky's.
How old is the child?
12.
Well, and you would agree as well that the child had seen all of this?
He was in the vehicle, correct? Yes.
Anything else you wish to place on the record?
I did not kidnap my son. I refused parenting to release her for parenting. And after the incident, I left. I called 911, and then we were coming back because they wanted me to do a statement, and that's when I got detained.
So you called police as well that day?
Yep, there was 3 witnesses. A landscaper called, and then Miss Parks called, and then I called also to report the incident.
All right. Your final response?
She did try to run me off the road, but she has no police report on it. She has no criminal charges against me.
Was the child in the car?
Yeah, yes.
This is your fiance.
It was on Church Road, and then she was trying to get past me, so I had to move over. So she was, I would say, not outraged, but I brake checked her, and she was going. I was almost again by the stop sign.
Is the child in the car?
In my car,
Yeah.
yes. So I moved over.
Time out. So why was she following you?
Good question. But it's a dirt road. We didn't have no PPO. We didn't, I mean, you could be looking at a sunset for all I care. But I was right by a stop sign. So why go against a stop sign and go left?
But you stated under oath that you brake checked her.
Yeah, to make her stop because she was going down a dirt road fast.
What would happen if she didn't notice that and you were rear-ended with a child in the car?
I mean, he did have his seatbelt on, but I wasn't gonna, you know, I had enough room at the stop sign where she could go over.
Okay, so
But she's had counseling, she has, therapy once a week.
you're talking about the child,
No,
this individual?
yeah, my fiance,
Okay.
and she's changed.
What about,
But that doesn't make him to put his hands on me.
That I understand, but that's an allegation yet. It's not been proven. I understand what the allegation is. What are you proposing then regarding parenting time for Mr. Patterson?
He needs help. He's a repeater. Child abuse. He has CPS cases on against him.
When?
This pending
When was the
charge.
last one?
I don't know exactly what his other, his daughter's case is, but I have evidence that witness has a child abuse against him. And then now me. There's no charges against Maggie or Margaret Fox.
Dan, do you have any response to the allegation that there were CPS investigations involving you and another child?
So about 2 years ago, I spanked my child for stealing. The way I went about spanking it, I left a dime-sized bruise on her hip. So when doing with the case, I got hit with 4th-degree attempted child abuse. I went through counseling, I did CPS, I had therapy, and I was cleared of everything. And I went to jail for 7 days.
Okay. Is that the last contact with Child Protective Services?
Yeah, I haven't had a contact with Child Protective Services in over 2.5 years.
I'm assuming there's a no contact provision between, you are not to have any contact directly or indirectly with Ms. Capely while this matter is
Yeah,
pending?
but I would like to also state that she filed this motion, but at the same time, she has been contacting me through app close for changing weekends with Tristan. So her filing this motion is really confusing of why she filed it. She filed it on the 29th, which I understand, but twice through me and through my son, she asked me if we were swapping weekends. She wanted to swap the 17th, and it's in app close. The first part of it is in app close. The second part of it is in my son's phone. And my response to her was, well, my response to my son, because I wasn't going to respond in app close because I'm not supposed to have contact, but I couldn't answer any of her questions until after May 10th because we were coming to this hearing.
I see.
So if she's...
Yes.
Just a second. I'm sorry. He didn't finish. I apologize. Mr. Patterson,
So
go ahead and
if
finish.
she wants to take parenting time away from me, because that's what she's filing for is parenting time, then why are you still trying to change or swap weekends if you're taking me to court for parenting time? Now, mind you, Ms. Capling does not communicate when it's best for our child. She only communicates when it's best for her. The safety of our child has been in question, and she doesn't realize that. She also won't tell you that her ex or her fiance has been abusive to her, have kicked her and my son out of the house and apartment numerous times, and my son is scared for his life to be with that woman.
You're referring to Ms. Parks?
Correct.
Okay. Your final.
Okay.
I said final a couple times, but the picture is expanding.
I try to contact his stepmom down in where he lives or supposedly lives. She said, ask John about the meet time for last weekend. And she's like, ask John. I was like, I can't contact him. And she's like, well, do it through the app. So I did. I was like, when are we meeting up? Because I didn't know what the meet place was. Yeah, Tristan said it was at the police department, but do I know physically? No. I would have met at Lucky's where it's stated. It's in file. So,
Go ahead.
and I asked him, where's our meetup spot? Because he's the only one that knows. I don't. So yeah, I did contact him through that app close though. And then previously I said, like a month ago, hey, are we doing May 17th through the 19th? And you will get the 24th through this 27th because he has football practice. And then that's when he said, or Tristan said, he can't contact you.
So alternate weekends currently.
Yeah, every other,
Where's the pickup and drop off place supposedly?
Lucky Steakhouse.
Okay, and you don't want that to change, right?
Not, I mean, it can change if he's gonna put his hands on me.
Well, I understand that, but I just want to make sure we have the prior order.
Yes, Lucky Steakhouse.
Alternate weekends.
And he gets most of the summer, and then, between Father's Day weekend, he gets some, and then July, he gets some, and then I get them like first part of August, like the maybe 10 days, or we switch.
Okay.
But no, I don't want to take his son away from him.
The alleged brake checking incident, was that back in November again?
Yes.
Make sure November 23rd. Okay. All right, court's heard enough. I'm ready to issue a ruling.
Did you want to see?
I still have some stuff to say, Your Honor, sorry.
You do? Just
Yes.
a moment. What do you have there?
Pictures,
Pictures of
myself with the bruises and his daughter.
his daughter.
Yes,
What's depicted regarding his daughter?
abuse,
From when?
whatever that,
2 years ago?
yeah.
Court will take judicial notice of that. You're all set. I don't need to look at it. Court will take judicial notice. Mr. Patterson, you have something else to say.
Yes. So, two things. Everything that she has asked for is on court. The judge, when I got out, asked me if I still had parenting time, and I said yes. They changed it and said the new meetup and drop off is at Imlay City. I didn't decide that. The judge decided that. Ms. Capelin is the one that's making the allegations against me. She's the one that needs to do her due diligence and find out from the courts what is going on with the case that she is stating against me. So that's number one. Number two is in app close. So the motion was filed April 29th or 24th for the motion for custody? Okay,
Correct.
in app close, May 1st. Are we switching May 17th through the 19th for May 24th to the 27th? So this is after the fact that she already followed the motion. I would assume so, right? Because April and now in May, this is an app close. This information is in app close. And then on so then on May 5th, she texted my son asking the same question, which my response to that was, I can't answer any questions until May 10th.
Okay. Picture is getting wider and wider. I thought it saw Mr. Holden stand.
Just putting on the record, Your Honor, that they were from May of 2021. From this court is that exchanges are at Lucky Steakhouse in Imlay City. So I'm not sure where the confusion was that it'd be someplace else because it's been court ordered for 3 years now. Be Lucky Steakhouse.
Okay. So I have the information. I was ready to make a ruling, but all I'm hearing though from you, Ms. Capelin, is that he needs help. What are you asking for regarding his parenting time?
I want the safety of my child. I don't want it to happen to his other child, the abuse. Because it's already against his daughter, it's already against me.
Right, but again, we're talking 2 years ago though regarding his daughter, right?
He's a repeater.
No, Miss, you are alleging that he abused another child, and it was 2 years ago. I just want to make sure we have that clear.
Yes,
Okay.
I
I'm not passing judgment relative to what may have allegedly occurred at Lucky Steakhouse. That's for.
He beat her.
There are criminal charges brought, so I'm not questioning that. It'd be up to the court of law to decide how that moves forward, but this is what the court is going to do. There must be either proper cause or change in circumstance in review of the custody factors to determine whether or not custody should be changed. That standard is a preponderance of the evidence standard. And what is alleged here is alleged domestic violence, as well as there was a concealed weapons charge, and there's also malicious destruction of personal property. Criminal charges have been brought in Lapeer County against Mr. Patterson in this matter. How that case proceeds is how that case proceeds, but the allegations are there. Both parties state under oath that the child was present at the time. And what I'm hearing from Mr. Patterson is the behaviors that are alleged here. And again, he's not claiming the domestic violence or anything like that. What he is saying, though, is a trigger was this Ms. Margaret Parks, who the plaintiff also acknowledges back in November of 2023, Ms. Parks was involved with Ms. Capling relative to an automobile incident on Church Road, where even plaintiff states she had brake checked this Margaret Parks. And as a result, and the child was in the car at the time. Now, according to the plaintiff claims that Ms. Parks has changed. Now they are engaged to be married.
We're getting a house together.
Just a moment, you've had your opportunity. And so I find, based upon preponderance of the evidence standard, that there is a change in circumstance for two reasons. Number one, the allegations of domestic assault made by the plaintiff against the defendant, that's one of the factors, child custody order, child custody factors the court has to consider. The child was present at the time, so clearly that's an issue. Number two is this may have been, I state that in quotes, may have been triggered based upon an allegation that is acknowledged by the plaintiff of an incident involving Ms. Parks. Now, the court will order a front of the court investigation relative to custody, parenting time, and support from the date, and support would be reviewed from the date the motion was filed. Also, as we move forward in this case, while the matter is pending, the court did not hear any evidence that the defendant is under investigation regarding any child abuse recently. Now, there's an allegation approximately 2 years ago, and I'm not doubting that because the defendant acknowledges that he was contacted by CPS. He even served some jail time as a result of it. Now, I don't deny that. So that portion is there, but there's another reason the court is ordering a review of the custody matter as well. It's also alleged that Ms. Parks was involved in an incident with the plaintiff whereby the child was in the vehicle that could have caused the child harm. That's another factor and reason the court finds proper cause. It's been acknowledged by the plaintiff in this case. On an interim basis, the court will order that prior orders will continue regarding parenting time. The court will not disturb the bond condition that has been set by the Honorable Laura Shager Barnard in the Lapeer County District Court. If she states that it's to be in Imlay City, it's going to be in Imlay City, and the prior order indicates that it's at Lucky Steakhouse, which coincidentally is in Imlay City. So that's going to continue. However, one modification, and I know this stings, but I'm very concerned regarding the interest of the child. Ms. Margaret Parks is off limits to be around the child in any way, shape, or form while this matter is pending. So Ms. Parks is not to be around the child. Ms. Parks is not to have any contact with the child while the matter is pending. And that's the order of the court. Prior orders remain in effect.
Okay, and it's at Imlay City Police Department, Your Honor. That's where they work. Imlay City Police Department.
That's where you're meeting now?
Correct.
All right. Is that correct, Ms.? You're meeting at the Imlay City Police Department?
Last weekend, yeah, because I didn't know where, because I was meeting at Lucky Steakhouse.
No, I can understand that. Do you have any problem with it being at the Imlay City Police Department?
No.
Okay.
But my child has been around Maggie all his life. Since he was born. Was he? No.
I understand that, but I'm looking at what's happened recently.
But she's changed.
The court order will be modified that The parent pickup and drop off will no longer be at Lucky Steakhouse, will be at the Imlay City Police Department. Prior orders will remain in effect as otherwise stated. Now, next thing is both parents will be have to fill out questionnaire forms and information regarding custody and parenting time. Make sure you get those forms filled out. Make sure you get them to the front of the court so that they can make a recommendation. Ms. You raise your hand.
There is no charges against Maggie, so why can't my son be around her?
I've made my ruling.
All right. First of all, I want to say sorry to the viewers that watched the video regarding to that big old blue thumb you kept seeing on the screen. FYI, that was not my doing, because when you react to this video, sometimes whatever that creator is that added unnecessary things on the video, it is what it is. But to that creator, I think they're called Man Dating Channel. Listen, fam, you do not need a big old thumb on that video for that long. I get, the goal is to, suggest that the watchers and viewers like your video. Bruh, if they like your video, they're gonna like it. You don't need to have that thumb in there. And if you do, keep it very short. Why it gotta be so freaking long and block the entire face of the people? But anyway, that's just my little personal thing regarding that. All right, let's get straight to the comments. Number one, I like the judge. To me, he was fair with this case. He allowed both parties to tell their side of the story. Most importantly, even after the mother made all these allegations, let's call them that, he allowed the father to say his piece, like his side of the story. And nothing I like about the judge too in this case is that he pretty much, without giving both parties legal advice, he in a way helped guide them on the right path, realizing that they are not being represented. So I like the fact that he did not give legal advice, but he said, hey, keep this in mind. So that was pretty cool. So perfect example, when he asked the father about the current criminal pending case, he said, hey, you saying you want to tell your side of the story, cool, but keep in mind that whatever you say here, it can be used against you in your criminal case. Now, not every judge will say that. Of course, it'll be good if they let the person know. But I've seen some cases where the judge won't even mention that at all, and they'll let the father or the woman just speak bluntly about their criminal case of what happened, and which they can get jammed up for it. So I like the fact that the judge was giving both sides, and I like the fact that the judge did not let the mother persuade him into believing her allegations, which brings me to another point, fellas. If you have a BBM that you are dealing with, please be very careful on how you move in the world. In other words, try your best to be as perfect, good, and out of trouble as possible, because BBMs like this, they can't wait to use something against you. They will try and find anything they can to use against you to make that child fatherless. For example, right, you see how she used a 2 years ago incident that happened with the father and his daughter. And he even said, listen, Your Honor, yeah, my daughter got caught stealing. Because of that, yes, I did spank her with a belt, and unfortunately it left a mark. Right, CPS was called. I spent 7 days in jail. I went to counseling, the whole 9 yards. Okay, cool. Now, I'm not saying it's okay to beat your kids with a belt. Of course not, right? Child abuse is really mainly when you do it out of anger and you leave a bunch of marks and a big bruise and so on and so on. But I said to say a lot of us got spanking when we were kids, right? So was the father in the wrong for doing that? I mean, I have to see what kind of mark it was, but keep that in mind. Ask yourself this: if your child get caught stealing and nothing's being done about it. Now, I don't recommend hitting your kid. Like with me, I don't do that because I talk my way into getting the kid to understand the consequence. If he or she do something, you might end up in prison, jail, or worse. So if your child get caught stealing and either that child received that, I guess you could say, punishment from you, a loving parent, or that child can keep on going with that same behavior, and one day she might end up stealing something, and guess what? She might end up going to jail. Or worse, she might end up trying to rob the wrong person and might get shot. So would you rather dip that in the bud when she's still, young, or just let that be ever go and get extreme where it becomes worse, either jail or dead, right? So and that's what the judge understood. The father, that's why he wasn't holding the father for spanking his kid, because the key thing is, based on your state, even if you call the police, they'll tell you, listen, it's not against the law to spank your kid if your kid is acting up. It's not against the law. Now it does go crazy when there's marks on a child, right? If you do it out of anger. But long story short, don't hit your kids if you don't have to. I prefer not to hit your kid at all, because honestly, some kids won't never really learn if you just keep on hitting them. Talking to them, it might take a little bit longer for them to stop, but find ways. Don't choose the lazy way out. Spanking and hitting your kid is the lazy way out. Trying to go beyond what you accustomed to or what your parents used to do to you. Go beyond that and try to learn new techniques on how to get your kid to do what you want her to do or him to do, which is going the good route and not going the bad route. Enough of that. So now let's go straight to the mother. The mother, man, listen, you could tell she froze up after the father spoke, because at first she was very confident in her allegations. But notice how as soon as the father said his part and broke down all the foolery she was talking about, she became like a deer in the headlight. And the first thing she went for was, well, he hit his kid 2 years ago. She was no longer on that current allegations that she was going with the forefront in the beginning. Those things took a back burner, and she started leading more on the child abuse that happened 2 years ago, which the father already paid the price for it. And the funny thing is, she spoke about child abuse, where meanwhile your fiance literally had your child, put your child in danger, not yours and her child only, like their child in danger. Your fiance trying to hit you guys off the road while the kid was in the car. I mean, come on, that is dangerous. And so I kind of understand why even the judge said your fiance doing that to the child. And also I think the father said her fiance trying to almost ran the kid over. Who wouldn't get upset about that? You as a parent watching this right now, somebody's fiance trying to run your child over, you would not be upset? And I'm glad he explained himself of what happened. He called the police, he called 911, and like I said, and it seemed like his case, the criminal case, will be dropped if he could present the same storyline as he said he's been doing so. And he said he have witnesses, he have the 911 call, and also he have a criminal lawyer, which is good, which is key. I recommend that every time, fellas. If you ever get involved in kind of any type of false allegations, definitely, if you're facing criminal, matters, get a criminal attorney to really help you get out of that funk and prove you're innocent. And I kind of understand why the father did not have a family law attorney present, because you have to understand a criminal attorney already costs a lot of money. So it's hard to really, number one, pay a criminal attorney and then pay a family court attorney. If you had to choose between one of the two, get the criminal lawyer first. Because to me, yes, your kid is very important, but if you mess up, you end up going to wrongfully go to jail or prison or get a felony charge, whatever the case might be, it will ruin your chance of being involved in that child's life completely. So you better off just getting that criminal matter situated first, and then focus more on the family's matter. And and overall, here's one thing I actually want to point out for y'all. Notice how the mother was fully aware that she had a no contact order against the father. Fellas, listen to this. What a lot of BBMs will do when they make these false allegations against you and they have a no contact order against you, here's what they'll do. They will intentionally contact you. They can either email you, message you, whatever ways, or call you. They're all wishing that you actually respond back, that you pick up the phone, that you text back, that you actually speak to them. She attempted that by trying to talk to the father through the co-parenting app. And when that didn't work, he was smart enough to not do that, to respond back. Then she went after the son and trying to text to the father through the son's phone, hoping that the son would give the dad the phone to respond back to it. She knows if that father would have responded to either in the co-parenting app or in the son's phone, she would use that against him, and guess what? He'd be locked up. So be very careful, fellas. If your BM have a no contact order against you, be very careful, because 9 out of 10 she will attempt to contact you. She can contact you, but you can't contact her. Once you respond to her, if you just say, hey, leave me alone, that's all she need, you getting locked up. So be very careful. So I didn't like how she tried to put that little stunt, but thank God he was smart enough. The dude, the father, I give him props. He did very good. He did very good. He was very calm. He explained himself, and also he was very honest too. He said, yeah, Your Honor, I don't mind telling you what really happened. Regarding the allegations regarding the DV, domestic violence, here's what happened. Here's the truth, right? And also regarding the child abuse thing, yeah, that happened 2 years ago because my kid got caught stealing and I spanked her in the butt, and that was that, and I paid the price for it. Cool. The judge respected that even more. So overall, man, look, these are my thoughts overall. I mean, the judge did good. But what's your thoughts? What's your comments? How was the mother, Do you think she did good? Was she in the wrong? Not in the wrong? How did the judge do? How was the father? Do you believe him? You don't believe him? That he did good? Like, what's your overall thoughts overall? But nevertheless, though, last thing I'm going to say regarding this matter is, parents, love your child more than you hate each other. Like, for the mother to bring up the 2 years ago child abuse, okay, that's funny how you bring that up, but then the entire time, the past 2 years, you was with the man still. There was no issue that those 2 years ago situation where the father spanked the child. For the past 2 years, that was fine. You was with him. Your kid is 11 years old, right? So you had no issue at all. But for some reason now, it's an issue now, right? 2 years later. And also, too, keep that in mind, how it's funny how she brought the father to court. First of all, she didn't even know what she wanted. The judge said, hey, what you asking me for? What do you want? She didn't even know what to ask for. But it's funny how she brought that man to court only to have her fiance being ordered to have a no contact against the son. Right now, her fiance can't even be anywhere near around the son. So that's a win for the father. And lastly, if your fiance was trying to run you over, the child over, or hit your car or chase you down, why are you with her still? Like, sometimes I think people think that abuse is only happens between a man and a woman. Like, in her case, her fiance is a woman. They can also do abuse too, right? That's a sign of domestic violence. For someone to chase you down with their vehicle and trying to run your child over, I mean, come on. But anyway, these are my thoughts. What's yours? Don't forget to share, like, comment, and as always, subscribe. Peace.